to stretch what that means a little bit. And the first thing that I'm going to do for you, before I start though, I'm just going to say that this is my poetry collection. Woo! Yes, it's called Fuck It, Pass the Salt Please. Okay, pass the salt please. There's some copies down there. It will make a superb Christmas present. There's also some badges that say Fuck It on them, made to look like the sea. And there's some mugs as well that say Fuck It, Pass the Salt Please. So there you go, that's the merch plug. But also Chris Redmond, who runs Tung Fu, I heard a mention of Tung Fu somewhere earlier. He said, when you're reading poetry and you've got a book to sell, you should always make sure that you read from your book so that people see it, so they go, oh yeah, I really must buy that. So I'm going to be reading from my book tonight. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is share a kind of a song thing. Now, I do a lot of work with Spork in Exeter, and we won the Lyra Slam for the Southwest. Woo! And Ed Tripp is in that little group. So it was me, Ed, Chris, and Sade, and we got very into writing silly shanties. And I realised that the word shanty is also Sanskrit for inner peace. And I thought, oh my God, I want to write a shanty. Yes. Inner world peace shanty. So that's what I've done. And I also like buying stuff to perform with. So I bought a Shruti box, which is an Indian meditation drone machine. So a nice drone.
Right.
But I can only play one note. And it goes a bit like this. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Great. Okay. So, I'm also going to ask you to do a bit of audience participation in my set. Okay. So we're going to start with very, very mild. Very mild, very acceptable. And so what I'd like you to all do is try an om for me. We're going to start an om in the room. Let's get an om going to this key. Om. Oh my goodness, that's beautiful. Om. And don't worry, you can all stop when I start singing. Thank you. What can you do for inner and world peace? Get up early and get a good morning routine. Brush your monkey teeth and wipe the poo off the loo clean. Early in the morning. What can you do for calm and patience? Put down your phone, stop comparing life situations. Be in the quiet, not seeking out a validation. Lie in the morning. What can you do to release the tension? Apart from wanking, that's an obvious mention. Stretch, move, walk, and get hydration. Lie in the morning. What can you do to find connection? Make it not about you, but community intervention. Go help someone, both for less isolation. Lie in the morning. What can you do about wars and oppression? This went down really well in Plymouth. Don't be a cunt by divide and aggression. Not so well in Bath. My local staff support circular economies and all financial decisions. What can you do to save the environment? Apart from hiding in a cave and being self-sufficient. system, and everything you do influences everything. So think about the choices you make. Be more empowered, less offended, and triggered. What can you do to be less grateful? Write morning pages and feel more grateful. Write the shit away, trust in people. Early in the morning, don't worry, it's nearly over. What can you do to feel more aligned? Close your eyes and you will find the seed of your nature exists at the core of you. Listen, trust and unwind. What can you do for inner and world peace? Yes, get up and get a good morning routine. Treasure each other, this moment is forever. Lie in the morning, hey ho to early risers, hey ho to early risers. I think this Shanti Shanty is a mantry. Sorry if it's been painful, I'll stick it up my gantry. Thank you very much. Will my voice hold? Will it hold? Okay, so I've kind of labelled this set as a kind of like joy and peace thing for Christmas. Okay? And I've actually written this next poem this week, so it's absolutely fresh. There's been a lot of rage. There's a lot of rage in the world, and a fuck ton of rage in the world. And we all have to find a way of living with that rage, but also kind of witnessing the rage, channeling it in our own ways, and dealing with it in our own ways. But the words peace and joy were a real part of my upbringing, as I'm sure at this time of the year, it's on Christmas cards everywhere, peace and joy, peace and joy. And I was raised as a Quaker, and the words peace and joy are kind of like Quaker currency. I don't know whether you guys, many of you might know about Quakerism. Quakerism is a pacifist movement. I really can't tell you what Quakerism is in 2 seconds. But anyway, basically, it is a pacifist, pacifist movement. And so this is my poem called Peace and Joy. The first time I met Joy, she was an old woman who smelt a bit of wee. I was 8, she was in her 70s. We'd sit side by side on our old brown sofa, a seesaw of living, room to be, led by my mum's MI6 level love, making tea, watching cosy Sunday telly, Antiques Roadshow, last of the summer's wine, mum secretly washing the sofa covers weekly. I'd curiously watch Joy in bright green and red chunky corduroy, fattening the truth of her malnourished body, little boats of hands restful in the lap of her, holding planet-sized silence, revolutionary. Pin badges of doves and C&D, no technology, her wild garden grew. Family. She gave me her father's chair for a wedding present, apologizing that she didn't have any money. I listened to stories of joy at her funeral. I was in my 20s. The Quaker meeting house was people, hive and beaming, all ages beaconed, loving stories of Joy's lifelong girlhood, where I'd only ever seen an old lady Someone spoke of Joy drinking coffee at their farm. A duck had dabbled its beak in her mug, turning drink to grassy soup. She shrugged, took a sip and said, "Oh well, if it's good enough for the duck, then it's good enough for me." I remember Joy every year at Christmas, rippling her patterns and examples on the sofa next to me. I wonder, if she lived in this age, what would Joy do? Bearing live stream witness to horrific wars, inequality, environmental crises, would she dare to glimmer, to measure her rageful size and say, "You do you, and I'll match you, but I'll sit here and I'll do it